They called him Hal, the charming rogue, the wayward son of a king. The prince who drank with thieves, laughed with drunks, and mocked the very crown that was meant to rest upon his head. But beneath the laughter, beneath the tavern songs and the brawls in back alleys, burned an ambition so ruthless it would make him one of the most feared kings in England's history. And to claim that crown, Hal would commit a betrayal so cold-sown for he-bubbly that it turned the love of a father into the curse of a ghost. The father was Henry IV, a king who himself had clawed his way to power by deposing another monarch, Richard II. He was a man haunted by guilt, a man who carried a crown heavy with blood. And from the moment he seized it, rebellion chased him like a shadow. Pretenders rose, wars broke out. His reign was one of constant paranoia. Yet he thought he had one comfort: his son, Prince Hal, the heir who would inherit the crown he had stolen. But Hal was no ordinary heir. While his father fretted over politics, Hal slipped into the slums of London, hiding beneath disguises, drinking with criminals, learning their ways. He sought not the respect of noblemen, but the love of the people who despised the king. He mocked power, sneered at duty, and turned his back on his father's court. To Henry IV, this was not just disappointing, it was scandalous. How could the son of a usurper secure a throne if he behaved like a beggar? How could England trust a boy who preferred thieves to knights? Their relationship rotted. In public, the king rebuked his son, shaming him before the court. In private, he accused him of plotting to overthrow him. Hal, smiling, offered no denial. And in the whispers of courtiers, a rumor grew. The prince was not waiting for the throne. He was reaching for it while his father still breathed. The scandal deepened when the king's enemies began to rise. Rebel lords, sensing weakness, reached out to Hal. He was young, popular, and disillusioned with his father. Was he not the perfect figurehead for their cause? Was it not possible that the prince himself might turn his sword against his father's crown? Henry IV's paranoia turned to rage. At one point, he accused Hal of conspiring in the assassination of one of his closest allies. The court buzzed with gossip. Had the prince truly joined hands with traitors? Had he sunk so low that he would spill blood to hasten his rise? Whether true or not, the scandal blackened Hal's name. Yet, in taverns and marketplaces, the people adored him more than ever. For every crime laid at his feet, he seemed more human, more theirs, more like a king of the people than his father could ever be. The tension snapped when the king's health failed. Henry IV, once fierce, was now frail, collapsing in fits of weakness, haunted by the prophecy that he would die in Jerusalem. As his body withered, Hal's ambition grew bold. He no longer even pretended loyalty. When his father was bedridden, the prince walked into the royal chamber, looked upon the crown resting on a cushion, and in a moment that would stain his soul forever, he took it. Not waiting for death, not asking permission, he placed the crown upon his head and claimed it as his own, while his father still drew breath. It was a betrayal that shook the court. Servants whispered that the king's son had stolen the crown from his dying father's bedside, that he had watched him gasp for air, and thought not of love, but of power, that he had crowned himself while the old man's heart still beat. When Henry IV awoke and found the crown gone, his fury was volcanic. The betrayal of Richard II had haunted him his entire reign. But nothing compared to this, the betrayal of his own flesh and blood. He demanded his son kneel before him. He spat words like daggers, cursing him for his greed. He accused him of wanting his death, of rushing to wear the crown before the body was even cold. Hal fell to his knees, and whether from guilt or cunning, he begged forgiveness. He claimed he had only taken the crown because he thought his father had died, that it was grief, not ambition, that had driven him. But the court was not fooled. They had seen the hunger in his eyes. They had seen the moment a son became a usurper. Henry IV died soon after, and Hal was crowned Henry V. The scandal could have destroyed him, but instead, he turned it into legend. He shed the skin of a drunken rogue and became the warrior king who led England to glory at Agincourt. The very people who whispered of his betrayal now worshipped him as a hero. But no victory, no crown, could erase the shadow of that moment when he stole his father's crown. For in the silence of Westminster, where kings are buried, they say the ghost of Henry IV still lingers, whispering into his son's ear, "You betrayed me. You wore my crown before I was gone, and though the world may praise you, I will never forgive you." The story of Prince Hal is not just one of transformation, from reckless youth to great king. It is a story of betrayal, the kind that makes blood run cold, the kind that reminds us that in the pursuit of power, even the bond between father and son can be torn apart. A scandal not whispered, but shouted across the centuries. A scandal that still leaves us asking, was Henry V the hero England needed, or simply a traitor who wore his father's crown with stolen pride? Because when the crown is at stake, love dies first. If you enjoyed diving into this strange, scandalous corner of history, make sure to unlock more secrets with us here at Throne of Scandals. Hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss a story hidden behind the golden doors of the past, because history is full of mysteries.